All right, hello. We have our first offering tonight from Deschutes Brewing Company, which is out of Bend, Oregon. So Pacific Northwest beer, Pacific Northwest Brewery, established in 1988 as a brew pub, produced more than, or produces rather, I should say, more than 250,000 barrels annually to 28 states and 2 provinces, and our neighbors to the north, Canada. So the Mirror Pond Pale Ale from Deschutes is actually their most popular beer. It's not their flagship. Their flagship is the Black Butte Porter. However, this is their most popular. They sell more of this than any other beer that they produce. Mirror Pond Pale Ale coming in at 5% alcohol by volume in that normal kind of pale ale range. Gets an 88 Beer Advocate score, a 90 Rate Beer score. So a pretty high score for a pale ale. Usually they're a little bit pedestrian. They're viewed as a little bit of a pedestrian kind of ale. They're usually the most easy to brew ales when you have your beer starter kit. Pale ales are the first things you usually try to brew. Cascade hops. They use lots of Cascade hops as well as pale malt. And the Mirror Pond, by the way, is the pond in the center of Bend, Oregon, where a lot of the activities of the city happen. So this is kind of like the center of the activity in the brewery is based on the Mirror Pond Pale Ale. So kind of a neat kind of story right there. On the label it says, at least there's Mirror Pond when it comes to pale ales. Then it asks, if you could only listen to one album forever, what would it be? Man, that's a good question. I would say On the Beach from Neil Young, but that's just me. And I'm wondering if they have different questions per bottle. Sometimes they like to do that kind of stuff as far as other breweries go. This says Bravely Done. Don't know what that means. But we're going to pour Mirror Pond into a shaker. It says lager glass or a tulip also, preferably a lager glass, but I don't have a lager glass. It's a Weizen glass, which is huge, so I do not have a lager glass, unfortunately. So we pour it into here, and we see this amber kind of color with about a 3/4 finger of head, very orangey. And we'll get the smell now. Classic pale ale smell, fresh, citrusy, hoppy kind of smell. Getting a little bit of a malty caramel kind of very, very dry hint of that. It smells very fresh. Smells very chilled, fresh, and crisp. Almost kind of reminding me of the Pacific Northwest, which is where this beer is from. Let's get a taste now of Deschutes Mirror Pond Pale Ale. Oh man. I'll tell you what, spot on as far as pale ales go. This thing is crisp. It's very tasty. Man, and it's got a great, great just taste down the palate. You get that kind of hop sting to it on the front of the tongue. Kind of a dulled, kind of IPA kind of taste to it. There's no grapefruit or stinging kind of sensation to this beer. And it goes down, and it goes down into a kind of an effervescent tone down the back of the throat. Definitely tasting that malt. That malt is just perfectly balanced with the hops. I mean, this is one of the most balanced beers I've had in a long time. And as far as a pale ale, this is actually really blowing me away. It's just a well-crafted beer. I tell you what, I wasn't really expecting to rate a pale ale very high. I was kind of thinking, pale ale is kind of a pedestrian beer, but this would totally be my go-to pale ale. If I could live with one pale ale, it would probably be this one. And this is the first time I've actually ever tasted this, so or any beer from Deschutes. I know some of my reviews I've already had the beer before. This is the first time ever. First sip, blown away by it. So as far as a pale ale goes, I'm going to go ahead and give Deschutes Mirror Pond, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 because it is spectacular. It perfectly crafts the easiest to brew style. It makes it perfect, makes it just excellent. So I would go Mirror Pond just a 10 out of 10 to me. Great appearance, perfect smell, perfect balance, perfect pale ale.